has been on my radar for a minute. This block tower, unique 4-story floor plan. This one I've been really curious about. Would you call this a tiny house? Okay, let's read about it first. The block tower. I'm gonna assume that this is an Airbnb, probably not somebody's full-time residence. Today we take a tour of this unique 4-story Airbnb called the block tower. 1,150 square feet of living space, so not a tiny house. 4 levels with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Holy shit, that's actually a lot of bedrooms for 1,150 square feet. I guarantee you haven't seen a floor plan like this one. Does it say where it's located though? Bloomingville, Ohio. It's very cool looking. I'm intrigued.
4-story unique cabin with rooftop decks, a really unique layout. You can see there's angles everywhere, deck spaces everywhere, roofs, different material for the siding, tons of windows.
I don't know why they split the material face up like this. I guess just so that it's not like a monotonous wall, but I almost feel like it would have been more interesting to do something horizontal rather than vertical, no? I'm a big fan of linear continuity, I guess. So the abrupt change for me feels a little bit arbitrary in comparison to maybe you could have did something just a little bit more unique with the staggered height changes.
We'll walk up the stairs on this left side. This left one goes to your backyard area, but this right one goes up to the next level, which is where we'll walk into to begin our tour.
Okay, so the main floors technically be the second floor then, and then they would consider the lower floor more like a walkout basement.
Walking into this level, this is the main area, I would call it. It has your living room and your kitchen and a couple other things, but this is probably where you spend most of your time at. You can tell it's elongated from left to right.
Okay, so the one thing that I'm noticing though, just from this main floor, is there's 5 bedrooms in this house and there is no space for seating, like any dining space. And the main floor living room that we just saw only had a 2-seater love sofa. So I'm curious if we'll see more recreational, like indoor space.
Pastels everywhere, from the pink cabinets, the green tile backsplash, and just the white all throughout. Really nice lighting in here as well. Windows everywhere. This huge window in this kitchen.
I find the two-tone in this kitchen really interesting because not only did they two-tone the cabinet colors themselves, but they also chose 2 different hardware pull styles. So on the, I guess, the lighter wood tone, we have black pulls, but then on the blush color, we have gold, but then the faucet's still black. I would have to guess maybe they made this choice. Maybe the black pulls would have felt a little bit harsh on the pink in contrast. I do like it though. It's not something that I would have, like, if you showed me this on like a swatch board, I would have probably been like, but in execution, I actually do like how this feels, especially because we have the feature fixture here with gold on it, which I think helps kind of tie these together. And then the green is also really fun too. I do like these colors. I feel like it's really playful, especially for a main floor space that does come across relatively neutral and relatively safe, I would say. I do like that they kind of just did a little like hint of color and fun in this space.
There's a couple chairs in front of this fireplace. This is more of just like a coffee hangout area whenever you're in the morning, waking up, hanging out, waiting for everybody to kind of wake up.
I'm curious to see the other floors because, I mean, we'll see what they're like. The amount of people that could be in this. Are we starting to max out on comfortability with that many people? I don't know.
And we can continue along on this main floor. We have your bathroom. Great choices for the vanity, the sink, and the mirror. I like it all a lot, even the tile on the floor. And then your tile.
More metal mixing too.
The glass sliding door. Very luxurious. You got the window in here as well. And in here, we have a pretty cool layout. It's the bed in the middle, and then on both sides we have closet systems.
The one thing that I don't love is it doesn't have bedside tables. I do think, yeah, this is a space-saving choice because it is such a skinny profile for the house. So I understand and this makes sense. Or even if there was like a ledge along the back and then you brought the bed forward a little bit or something, and maybe it's just me, but I do like to have a glass of water by me or something at night when I'm sleeping. There isn't really an opportunity to do something like that in here, but I do like the palettes a lot. Like, I think that the color choices, especially this bathroom, I love this. I'm just starting to kind of pay attention to how designers are mixing mixing their metals in spaces. A cool thing about mixing metals that I do really like is as different metals come in and out of style, if they're mixed, it's more likely to help your space stand the test of time in terms of fluctuating trends and stuff. Because yeah, maybe gold won't stay in for the next few years, but now there's the black to kind of offset it, which I think is a really cool strategy in terms of future-proofing your design. But you can see here too, the permanent fixtures or like the harder to change fixtures are all in black, like the mullions here on the shower or like the shower head, the faucet. But the easier to swap items like the hardware poles or the mirror or the vanity light here, those are gold. So if you decide you don't want these to be that anymore and you wanted to swap it out, maybe copper becomes really trendy one year. It's super easy to do that. So I think that's great. This tile in the shower is really cool too. This kind of gives the illusion of like wood slats almost. Yeah, I'm really interested in the finish choices in this house. I think it's super cool.
Let's go upstairs first. So we'll walk around the living room, walk up these beautiful steps here. This is kind of a transitional area. Depends where you want to go. In the middle, we have these double doors. This is your washer and dryer. Off of this area, it's the same layout as before. We have the bathroom.
Okay, so it's almost like a carbon copy of the floor below, but just a little bit of a color palette switch up. I think this is really fun though. I think it's really cute. I do like it. I like this color palette on the second story, I would say, even more than the first. It just feels a little bit cozier to me.
This one has the huge square window.
Ooh.
It's because we're up higher. Then we can walk back in here and we'll walk up.
I'm obsessed with this chandelier, by the way. I love this. I love a good feature light. I think it's beautiful.
It is the smallest one in here. You see the toilet and the shower. And we enter into the last bedroom, which this one's different as well. We have a bed here in the middle, but it's two beds. If we slide out the drawer underneath, it reveals a second bed. Out here, if we walk around this side, a small area with dishes and cups. So if you bring drinks all the way up here, you don't have to carry dishes all the way up from that main floor, which is nice. And there is a dishwasher up here.
I find that kind of weird. It would make more sense to me if it was like a mini fridge or something. But then you're gonna have all of these clean dishes in the dishwasher. Imagine you have a child or kids and you're staying here for like a week or two, and then they take drinks all the way upstairs to hang out in the kids' space. They accumulate upstairs, then you wash them all, and then now you have to somehow transport a bunch of them back downstairs, or they just keep accumulating in these cupboards up here. Like, especially because how tall this space is, like you have to go 3 stories down, or I guess 2 stories down to the main kitchen. It seems like a convenient thing, but it ends up being kind of inconvenient. That's my speculation about this.
Down to the bottom floor now, the one we passed, and this is your game area.
Okay, so I'm realizing it said that there's 5 beds, but I think they're counting the very top floor as like 2 beds. So I guess it's not 5 bedrooms, it's 5 beds, which makes more sense. I still stand by what I said though, like this lower level could have been a really nice opportunity to do like an indoor lounge space that everybody could sit at instead of just taking it over with a ping pong table. Again, there isn't really any indoor hanging out space that would fit everybody that can fit in this house.
There's a bed right next to it underneath the steps.
I know if we brought friends and stayed at this place, everybody would call it the Harry Potter bed, the bed under the stairs. You'd have to draw the shortest straw to get this one.
So that is everything on the inside of this cabin. We can enter into the outdoor space now. Off of the main floor, there's a sliding door, and we have a covered deck area.
I'm gonna stop it here. So I review these on the lens of long-term living rather than, like, I know this is an Airbnb and it was probably always intended to be an Airbnb, so it was designed with the short-term stay in mind. I think it's cool. There's a few changes that I would make though, I think, to accommodate the long-term living. First off, I think I would just like keep it at the 3 bedrooms, kind of not really squeeze in the other 2 beds. For an Airbnb, it makes more sense, I assume, especially for the square footage. I think it was like 1130 or 1150. A couple problems that I have with it though, but I wonder how hard it would be to rectify. I think now that I know that it's like actually a 3 bedroom, I think that the size of the kitchen makes way more sense. I think that it is a really great size. I love the design of it. I love the colors. I think they're beautiful, super playful and fun. This space with the fireplace here at the top of the stairs, this to me does not really serve too much of a function. I think this feels more like a transitional space. I don't think that the house is wide enough even to do an indoor dining space with this size, which is a little bit disappointing to see just from a long-term lens. I did see the windows staggering from the exterior and I was wondering why they were jumping up like this, and now I see that they're along the stairs, which I think is pretty fun. It's a cute detail, but you could almost raise them higher with your ascension upwards because then you could kind of see outside as you go up. But I'm just trying to think of if there's anything that you could do with this. I think turning the basement rec room space into an actual proper living room space, you could totally fit like a huge sectional down down here and maybe like a projector or a big wall-mounted TV or something. And I am a big fan actually of having the TV room sort of separate from the areas that you would be socializing, just because it doesn't encourage everybody to just stare at a screen together then. Not too bad in terms of size and storage and stuff too. I'm not sure from a long-term lens how nice these, I mean, I could probably make a wardrobe of this size work if I was living tiny, but I do know that I personally have an armoire for my stuff and it's like double the width of this, and then Krish has one too and it's also double the width of this. I stand by what I said too about not having any options for bedside tables here. I think that there's probably a way that you could configure it so that that's not necessarily the case. I'd need to see the floor plan layout itself to know what's feasible though. Like it looks like there's space at the end of the bed where you could maybe fit a wardrobe, or you could even maybe configure the bed onto a different wall. Yeah, no, actually this looks like it would be quite tight. So maybe this is the best option for storage and that's why they did it. For an Airbnb and for what it is, it's okay. I wouldn't be super pleased with it for my permanent house. From a design perspective, in terms of the palette, the finishes, the fixtures, everything else, I think it's really cute. It seems like it's one of those things that like we did it because we could do it. You know what I mean? There isn't really like any practical reason for it being the shape or the profile that it is. I think they just did it because it's interesting and interesting opportunities stand out on Airbnb. I get it. I would maybe be less surprised if it was like a shipping crate house that they stacked on one another, but it doesn't appear to be the case. It's literally just we made a tall house to make a tall house. The number of stairs might over time become a bit of a hindrance, but the bathrooms are great sizes. The showers are great sizes. In the grand scheme of things, it's small, but I don't think it would feel too squishy. Also, too, these patios are not necessarily required, so you could maybe in a different design steal the space for adding more like closet storage or something. But that's that tour. That is it.